the word uncertainty comes to mind. I think that's the scariest thing, and realizing that we're all experiencing uncertainty and that we're all scared and that there's nothing wrong with that experience. It's actually normal to feel fear in the face of uncertainty.
Yeah.
Because I get these experiences where I'm like, I can save the world. I can. Like, like I just believe it for some reason. Like, I can do it. There have been others. And then I'm like, no. And then so I ask myself, what's one next step? What's one next move that I can make? And I find that when I make that move, it's like opening a door to possibility. And then something emerges, another possibility. You meet someone who cares as much as you, and then you go with them somewhere and you volunteer and you meet another person who's sharing their life story with you, and that's touching your heart and opening your heart. It's like a domino effect. And instead of fixing the world or doing something huge and drastic that you think needs to be done, you're doing something that is making a difference.
For me, my like form of activism sometimes is just like treating everyone like a friend, right? Having that like understanding that we're all humans going through the same thing. 2 years of being in a pandemic and also experiencing like everyday life, breakups, divorce, sickness, like all these different things, right? We're all going through it.
I just think that often you think, well, it's a small thing, it's not going to make a difference. It's like the starfish story.
Yeah.
On the retreat, one of the teachers told this story about this old man was walking down a beach and he could see someone kind of in the distance throwing things back into the ocean. And he got closer and he could see there was like thousands and thousands of starfish. And this young boy was throwing this starfish one by one back into the sea. And he's like, why on earth are you doing that? It's not going to make a difference. And he picks up one, he throws it in, he goes, made a difference to that one. And I was just like, yeah, small acts make a big difference.
Can you imagine if everyone in the world did what y'all are doing, what y'all are talking about? You know, kind of like the starfish, it would just... that snowball will be a different snowball, right?
Yeah.
That forms. You know, me personally, I know these past 3 years have been particularly heavy just with, you know, the killings of Black innocent men by police. As a Black man in this country, like that hits hard, you know. And then the pandemic hit. Right, and then, like y'all said, you have your own personal, already, you know, stress that's already in place. So it's a lot. It's a lot. A practice that I kind of formulated is what I call like mindful reflection, like really taking the moment to reflect on the ancestors that came before me, and the resilience that they displayed in the face of whatever atrocity was present. But I mean, let's keep it real. Like, can you think of a time in this world where there wasn't some kind of conflict going on?
Yeah.
Right? There was always racism. There was always sexism.
Yeah.
There was always agent. There was always war going on in this world. Some kind of conflict. I sometimes think that that's the nature of this earthly journey that we're on. Like, there's going to be conflict. How do you face it?
Yeah.
Right? How do you face it? What are you going to present to this conflict? Are you going to throw a starfish in the ocean? Or are you going to say, you know, that's not going to even be enough and just walk past?
Yeah.
I think there's something in like human nature that's fascinated by the end of the world. There's a fascination, right? There's so many movies about it. We're kind of just enthralled in a sense with the idea. I think, and asked myself this, like, why? Why do we focus so much on this? And I think there's this like desire for a catharsis, for a starting over. You know, like if we could just start over, we could design everything anew. But we can do that anytime in our minds.
That's the thing.
You know, we can create a scenario and start with a question like, what would my neighborhood feel like if I felt safe, if I felt connected, if I felt like I belonged? How would I get up in the morning and, you know, greet my neighbors? And how would we look at each other? You know, and then expand that out. What would you know, if your daughter's at school, what would their school be like if it was really connected and safe and, you know, nurtured these qualities of mindfulness, and that made that the core of the curriculum? And then what would our government look like? You know, what would the world, then we go out to the world, you know, but kind of doing it incrementally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've done that a lot, and I find that it really it breathes hope for me, and it renews my hope, and it gives, and more than hope, I would say trust. I trust that that's possible, that we're all capable of creating a world like that.
Yeah. I have like sticky notes all over my house now, again, of like the best me. So there's qualities under each one, whether it's like my kitchen, living room, bathroom, office, of like different qualities of like my best self. So when I'm in my office, I'm present, I'm honest, boundaries, I'm able to communicate, I'm transparent. Those are values that I want to embody while I'm working, and that feels good for me. Because I think sometimes we can get really like stuck in our heads about all these different things, and it sounds good, you know, and I wish everyone could do it, but when it comes to actually like doing the thing, it's hard, you know, being compassionate, being kind, being gentle. So yeah, those Post-it notes are all over my house of like, you know, and I'm in the bathroom. Wow, hi Dora, you look great today. Thank you. Like, you know, because it could go the other way, right? So taking that time to like remind myself, don't just leave it on the cushion, but bring it forth into like your everyday life. And I think that's where, you know, as we like embody our practice, it inspires other people, almost like a lighthouse where people will see you and you're like, wow, you used to be really reactive before. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, let me tell you about meditation. Like, let me tell you about mindfulness, you know? So yeah, I think it's important to have those reminders where we can have them to hold ourselves accountable. Yeah.
You know, I think we're seeing, you know, now with so many more younger kids, even like teeny tiny kids who are seeing the value of checking in with their emotions, understanding the way they're feeling. And so I have such hope. You know, the Dalai Lama once said, if every 8-year-old meditated, there'd be no more wars. And like, I truly believe that. My heart is full of hope because I know that we all have the capacity. And so I hope my utopia is that it's not that we're all, you know, running around in this bliss of, you know, love hearts, although that's definitely one of them. But, you know, people feel like they are supported to make informed decisions.
I love what you said there, Eve, about, you know, this utopia. Sure, I guess in a ideally, everyone is bouncing around, right? But I think
that's your utopia.
Right? Yeah, you know, ideally,
I'll bounce.
Right? Yeah, bouncing. Oh, excuse me. You know, but it's like, I guess for me, it boils down to, and I you know, it's not a shameless plug, but I feel so grateful to be able to be here at Headspace because the mission is literally to improve the happiness and health of the world. And happiness doesn't mean that everything is perfect.
Yeah.
Right? It just means that even though there's, yeah, sure, you're going to experience stress, but overall there's a sense of happiness. Right? So I think that's my idea of utopia, where there's just happiness and love, you know, everywhere that everyone is experiencing. And I totally agree with you, Eve. I think if everyone practiced mindfulness and meditation, that it would be, I don't want to say perfect, but it'd be definitely a much better world.